You know, I find it weird that Walt Disney did this one instead of Warner Brothers. Return to Oz. Now, this one, I'll make it plain and simple. Those of you already watched the first movie, trust me. Most of you already did watch the first one like countless times. Those of you didn't even know this movie existed at some point in time. And I could tell this is from the classic 80s style. And fun fact, they did use like this weird this robotic guy from Epic Mickey Power of Two, sequel video game, as a mini enemy fight. Anyhow, in the sequel, Return to Oz, right where we left off, Dorothy Gale still is a young girl, as she is a long time ago. That she was at a place called Oz, and people think she's out of her mind, so they send her to like a mental hospital to use some technology to rid her mind out of the place and thinks it's real. But the girl over there believes her, or she helps her escape that place, and accidentally fall into the river water inside a random baby bunch, and she has a pet chicken named Salina. And we get like these weird stop motion effects, which is the creepiest part of this movie. Those creatures are called the golems, and a bunch of people that she thinks are statues, but there are innocent people that turn to stones, and that's the Tin Man, which I'm pretty sure I don't remember him look that cartoony-ish from the first one. There's the Cowardly Lion, who's also turned to stone, and so is the Scarecrow. And the creepiest part of this movie is these WeWork guys. And I gotta admit, their designs are very terrifying. And she uses the key to keep it away from those weird creatures. Yeah, this is the so-called Clockman, who I swear looks like one of those Star Wars characters I've seen in the 1970s, who's there to assist Dorothy Gale to find a way to undo the curse. There's from the evil King Golem, to wear Dorothy Gale's shoes for some reasons, which I find a little bit ridiculous at some point. They grab one of the wheel guys that they took all the emeralds from Emerald City and had to undo with the curse. So to our heroes, to visit this strange princess called Wumbi. And her design looks like, well, I would say she kind of looks like that weird. She kind of looks like a Power Ranger villain that I've seen before because of her design. Fun fact, Princess Moonbeam is supposed to be an evil witch. It's supposed to be like another, her sister, the Wicked Witch of the East or West, which is also part of the story. And there's like these weird half lion, half bear things that are also part of the Wizard of Oz story. The only thing that's kind of creepy about this movie is she keeps on replacing her heads with these ones. Yeah, it's kind of freaky actually. Now, I gotta admit, this is really terrifying to look at. Replacing her head to some of her collections. Yeah, talk about losing your head. I apologize for that pun joke. I'll pretty sure I won't do that ever again. Moonbeam suddenly knows what she's planning. So yes, she's the one that turned most of them into statues. She forces Gale, in her room, and he meets a Tunkin Pumpkinhead. And name. Jack Pumpkinhead. And Gromp, the Moose Head. He is Princess Moonbeam's creation, and he's obviously kind of like the Scarecrow, but a Tunkin Pumpkinhead, who teams up with Dorothy and they have to find a way out. He explains that all they had to do is build a flying device. The only way she can do that is get the key from Moonbeam when she's sleeping. And they use some moves and other flying things. Use ropes and other parts to make it fly. And I find the scene also pretty terrifying when she tries to get something from her. Powder of Life. And here comes the scene. The scene really terrifies me when she wakes up. Now that is scary. You thought the first one was scarier? You haven't seen this sequel. Anyhow, you have to find a way to use this power or to undo the curse to free her friends, or Stone did, while Moonbeam sends her evil henchmen to chase after them. So this movie is a big, huge adventure of finding the evil Gnome King, which I might find kind of a ridiculous way to see him wearing Dorothy's red shoes, which I cannot take the guy seriously when he's wearing her shoes. Without giving not too much away, this movie was kind of disturbingly scarier. Because I use like stop motion effects, it's kind of a freaky, scary film. They actually use like stop motion effects, where back in the day, looks terrifying. I mean, those of you who have watched this movie before, it's kind of like that movie, Never Ending Story 1 and 2. They use like the effects so perfectly well, you just know it's meant to be like most likely both kids and adults. This film is downright, it's scary. I mean, first time I saw this, it just scared me out of my wits. You just know you might have to watch this in Halloween time. The acting roles in this movie are pretty well done. It's pretty made perfectly for both of teenagers, grown-ups, and children that watch this film. But no, this is meant to be taken seriously. Great projects, great effects, everything in this film just shows how downright frightening most of these characters are. Most of them are like the scariest part of this film ever made. Stop motion effects of those golems will downright fright you, including Princess Moonbeam herself, with all those heads looking at her. You just know you would just be frightened by her appearance. And another fun fact, they did do like a return to Oz several times in cartoon forms. So unlike this live action of herself, being less scary as she is, she does still pretty well made a perfectly great actor playing an interesting villain. So I'll give this movie credit. What credit does dues for. Without giving too much away, you'll have to watch this movie for yourself on how rarely made it's supposed to be. It just shows her having a great adventure, earning a perfect meaning of life of friendship. It is to the heart of kindness, and it's up to her to save the day and go back home where she belongs. Also, the golem's weakness is eggs are poisonous to them. Without showing too much of the movie, his death is pretty disturbing. Yeah, this movie in the front cover, you can tell it's not meant for little children at most parts. It's pretty frightening, if you ask me. At least the Scarecrow design looks like a costume that they just came up with. And Moonbeam ends up as a prisoner, or toward the end of the movie, that she wanted to rule Oz, Iron Fist, but unfortunately gets backfired at the very end. So I'm just gonna say, if you like to watch some scary, crazy madness, this movie is meant for you to watch. Probably, maybe like a few times. It'll keep the kids quiet for a while. So I give like the most interesting film of Return to Oz a 7 out of 10. So you'll have a wonderful time watching this movie as much as I did. I'll see you guys around. Thank you all for watching.